Gotta get your tweets in.
Yeah, gotta let the peeps know.
Peep, peep, tweet, tweet, you know.
So, this is Big D and Shade from Takoyaki Anime.
Yo!
And we are back with our upcoming thoughts for the summer season of 2017.
Yes. Speaking of summer, y'all are gonna have to excuse me if I sniffle into the mic a little bit. Summer's hit here as well, and so I'm battling my allergies, so pardon me for that, but we're gonna carry on anyways.
Yes, and it's a thunderstorm over here, so I may jump because of the thunder.
No, you're jumping for joy for the all-new series that are coming out for the anime. Because my God, this is an interesting summer season. That's for sure. It's like almost all new. Like there's only like what 2 or 3 that are even like
one that's related, and then another one that's part of a series. But
like other than that, everything's new. That's that's weird. That doesn't happen. Yeah, no kidding.
All right. So the first show we're going to be talking about is one of yours, and it is Centaur's Worries, or Centaur no Nayami.
I get the first one. All right. So I guess I'm just the pick of getting all of the monster girl ones because that seems to be the way that falls into place. So, but you know what? I have high hopes since the last one. Like the one before last, not so high hopes. The last one, high hopes because it did really well. So this one is Himeno is a sweet, shy girl who struggles with high school life. The difference is she's a centaur, but she's not alone. In fact, all of her classmates are supernatural creatures sporting horns, wings, tails, halos, or some other unearthly body appendage. Yet despite their fantastical natures, Himeno and her best friends are down-to-earth, fun-loving teenagers who grapple with issues of life and love. So, and this is done by I don't think I've heard this company before. Emon Animation?
Yes, Emon. They did Silver Guardian, and they did that the other show that I didn't like.
Okay, I'm hoping. Okay, I will just say this just for and since it's related in that regards, I'm hoping that this is not going to be in the same way that Silver Guardian is. Because don't get me wrong, I enjoy Silver Guardian. It's not the greatest anime in the world, but it's still pretty decent anime. My only gripe with it primarily is that each episode is like 10 minutes long, incredibly short.
So you've noticed it now?
That's horrible. That's incredibly horrible. I'm hoping this is not going to go along that same lines. If it is, this might be the last anime I really watch from this company because it's annoying as hell. They have so much more potential with what they're doing in each episode, and I feel like they just sell themselves short, and it's kind of a cop-out to me in some sense. So if this ends up being that way, I'll probably still watch it, but this might be the last one for me then for this company. If that's the direction that they're going in, if they're like, we just want to do short little episodes, no, I don't appreciate that. I don't like that. Every time I sit down for anime, I want to sit down and enjoy myself, and these little bits just don't help. But anyways, this anime does intrigue me. Because in previous ones from this, we've seen where it's like these monster girls are part of human society, like people, right? I think your camera messed up. You still there? Uh-oh. Big D! I think he's gone.
We shall be back shortly.
We're talking about Centaur, and I was talking about how previous animes for Monster Girls have had where it was just a few monsters inside of a human school, primarily with humans. This one has now said basically that everyone inside this school is a monster. So I kind of like the aspect from the previous one where they had their own trials and tribulations because of how you were figuring out them being monsters and what they had to do to kind of live a quote unquote normal life. I guess this could kind of do the same thing, except I mean it's more of like, it's more accepted because everyone's like a monster of some sort. And it does intrigue me too, because they talk about halos, and one of the monster girls and the picture that they have for it on any chart actually has like looks kind of devilish kind of thing. So I'm curious if they're gonna bring like that aspect of like, you know, angels and demons and stuff like that into the whole thing, because that's something that typically anime is kind of shy away from. I don't usually see a whole lot of when you get into like, unless they really go into like religious kind of thing and whatnot. But for the most part, they usually go with like your typical ones like centaurs and stuff like that, where it's not anything like that. So I'm curious. I'm curious to see how it's going to go. Again, I'm a little hesitant, a little skeptical, considering it's done by Emon Animation, and the Silver Guardian that I'm watching, which I do enjoy, is shortened episodes, and they're talking about how this is going to just be grappling with issues of life and love. So it sounds like, you know, kind of a slice of life. So I think they might go in that same direction, in which case I'm just going to be disappointed in that regards. But I guess I'll move on and overcome my obstacles in that, at least for the time being. But again, if this is like that, where it's short episodes, I think I might be done with this company for a while after watching something from them, because God, it seems like they waste potential with that. It really does. Okay. Anyways, that's my thoughts on that.
Okay, well, me not knowing anything about it because it didn't have a trailer yet. From what you said, it's like Monster Girls, but it's in high school, so it's kind of like interviews with Monster Girls. And also you said that there's halos and then someone who looks like a demon. So this to me, I'm seeing interviews with Monster Girls mixed with that show from Dagakubo that I watched last season with the two demons and the two
oh yeah.
So it's
I actually forgot about that one. God, it didn't leave that much of an impression on me. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, so I don't know. I'm kind of, I'll check it out. I don't have any thoughts about it really, because these types of shows don't seem to hold my attention too much. But I'm curious to see if it's as intriguing as you say that interviews with Monster Girls are.
See, I'm curious too, but again, now that I realize who does it, I'm like, I don't know. This might not be so good. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways.
Show we're going to be talking about is Clione no Akari. Now, I think this is one of my shows.
Yes, this is one of your shows.
Let's see.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, so this show is, the story centers around an illness-stricken, constantly bullied orphan named Minori. After one rainy day, she doesn't turn up to school. After having been admitted to a hospital in a distant town, 2 months pass, and the girl's two school friends, Takahashi and Kyoko, receive a mysterious email with no sender listed. The email reveals a summer festival taking place at a nearby town. I feel like they skipped something, but okay.
See, that was gonna be my first thought, because I kind of didn't really like look at this one too much. But when I read the synopsis for it, I'm like, this seems really vague and just like it really doesn't give me any impression about what is even expected of this. Mm-hmm. And even like the picture they have for it, I mean, does this have a trailer for it?
Yes. I watched the trailer, and the style of the animation looks really cool. There was something about it that I'm not sure what it is, but like the animation looks good, and that's enough for me to check it out. As far as the story goes, it looks like there's going to be mystery. It looks like it's going to be a slice of life type of show in high school. So it's like another typical high school anime. There's this new twist about an email and a girl being sick. So depending on how those situations go, it may hold my interest and it may not. It mostly depends on the characters. But the studio...
You know, and it's funny too, because like on AniChart, they don't actually say like what category it goes under. I don't think they know. I mean, I was looking at the Centaur, and like it says comedy, slice of life, supernatural fantasy. Granted, it seems like that's going to be the way it's going to be. And then I look at that, and I'm like, nope, doesn't say a damn thing. So Even the people in charge of this are like, I have no idea what this is going to be about. This seems kind of weird.
Yeah. The studio is Ishikawa Pro, and they've only done one other show than this, and I haven't seen that. So this is a complete shot in the dark. Like, I have no idea. I don't have any history with this. The studio, so.
You have no expectations about what. See, this is like this is a season of not just new shows, but like new production companies too. I mean, this is like their first. Well, not necessarily first, but like their beginnings and stuff like that, at least. And so this is a very interesting season.
Yeah, so it could be a new studio like Iman, or it could be a new studio like Mappa, where one kind of swings and misses for me, and I guess for you, and then was Mappa, which is like just knocks it out of the park over and over. So I'm very curious to see how this show's gonna go. So.
See, I guess again, you're more on the trailer side, so the trailer kind of swayed you, but that storyline, I'm like, how does that even connect? It's like you kind of seem like you were going in oh god, what was that one anime that we watched with the girl who she could read minds?
Oh yeah.
See, like the very beginning of their what they say about it reminded me of that, because she was constantly getting bullied, constantly getting picked on.
Yeah.
People didn't believe her, this, that, and the other thing. And then, and then you're like, oh, and then the fact that it goes into like a hospital. And then all of a sudden I started thinking about Kokoro Connect.
Yeah.
Because you had the one girl who went into the hospital and everyone was worried. And, I'm like, okay, I see this. I'm kind of getting it, like, okay, this is going to be very emotional, high intensity. And then we go to a festival. I'm like, where did that connect? Where was what? I'm confused. So I don't know. And even like the picture they have for it is all like bright and cheery, and you got the three girls there looking like they're just having a fun time and awe and wonderment. And you're like, how does that relate to an orphan girl getting bullied and having to be in a hospital? What? So I don't know. I'm very iffy about that, but go ahead. Yeah, that's all I got for that.
Yeah. So it's a total mystery, total new studio. So I hope it's good.
Here's hoping.
So the next show we're going to be talking about is Fate Apocrypha. This is another one of my shows, and
now I didn't really like go into this one, only because I was kind of torn. Is this going off of the studio and the production of Fate that you liked or that I liked?
Neither.
Really? Is this different?
This is A1 Pictures.
So did someone else take the whole thing now and is redoing? Is this even a part of that, or is this?
No, this is not connected to any of the other stuff, as far as I know.
Okay, so this is not part of Fate. I saw Fate and I immediately went like, nope. I think I blocked it out just because I was like, God dang it, another Fate Stay Night that I don't want to have anything a part of. Because they ruined the series. Okay, so I might actually be interested in this. This might actually be interesting.
if you think about it, all of them, there's two that are Fate Stay Night, one that is Fate Zero. All three of those are connected to the same characters. This is Fate Apocrypha, so it's something completely different.
So
as what I can tell from the trailer.
But the first Fate Stay Night was the one that I liked. Studio
Dean, yes.
And then the next two were the ones that you liked.
I liked all three of them, but the ufotable ones, which is Zero and Fate Stay Night Unlimited Blade Works, those you didn't like. Yeah.
I didn't like those. I liked Dean. I didn't like ufotable on that one, which is weird because I usually like them for a lot of other things, but for some reason I think they ruined it for me on that one. But see, they talk well. Anyway, I'll let you go because I see Holy Grail War, which is what I saw Fate and Holy Grail War, and I'm like, this is the same thing. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, so story for this one is there was once a Holy Grail War waged by mages and heroic spirits in the town of Fuyuki. However, one mage took advantage of the chaos of World War II to steal a Holy Grail. Several decades have passed, and Jesus.
Good luck with that.
Millennia family.
Millennia, there we go. We're just going to say the Millennia family.
Who took upon the Holy Grail as its symbol, defected from the Mages Association. Furious, the association sent forces to deal with the millennia, but were defeated. Within the Holy Grail system change, war at an unprecedented scale breaks out.
Okay, I kind of get what they're talking about with that description. Kind of. What is with their descriptions on these things now? That just seems they kind of go all over the place sometimes. I don't know. But see, there it goes. It talks about the Holy Grail. So that's the Holy Grail War. Yeah, that's what we know, right? So it is connected to the Fate Stay Night series. Yes. But this is talking about after, like, the Holy Grail War happened?
Yeah, apparently they stole the Holy Grail, and I guess instead of getting your wish, they just took it and ran off. And then after several decades, people found out that they have it, and now another huge war is breaking out.
What I get from that is there was one mage during the whole chaos of it that decided. Well, they say World War II. Like, they talk about the Holy Grail War, and then they go talk about World War II. That's confusing to me. Anyways, so it sounds like one mage took the Holy Grail during the Holy Grail War or something like that. So no one got their wish, and he just took it. Yep. So he's just like, no one should have it. He just took it.
Yep.
But see, then the Millennia family, because that's what we're going to call them now, the Y Millennia family, took the Grail from the Mages Association, who had it from I guess the one mage created an association when he took it, and a lot of people were joined it, I guess. And then this family took the Grail from the association, and now the association wants the Grail back. But now people know that they have it, so now people are coming after them. So we got this whole, like, trifecta of just, because now you have the Y Millennia family who has the Grail, but they're just keeping it. They're not doing anything with it. Sounds like they're just keeping it. You have the association who wants it back. Though if the Y Millennia family is just keeping it, I'm 100% like, and then all's the association wants is just to have it back, just to keep it. I'm a little curious as to why they're so upset that the Y Millennia family took it if they're just keeping it, because it kind of seems like, well, they're not doing anything with it. They're just holding on to it.
I'm wondering what happened to the Holy Grail War, because if they took the Holy Grail, which is the end of the war, is everybody just kind of stuck in the war? And they're like, well, we can't end it because nobody did anything with the Grail.
So, I mean, it sounds like even though this is connected, it's not quite connected, maybe? I don't know. This is weird.
Yeah, so from the trailer, like, all the characters are different and everything that I saw. So
okay, I'm
looking forward to it. It's like the Fate series in a completely different location with different circumstances. A1 Pictures has it, so the animation is going to be way different. A1 does good stuff, so I'm curious to see their new take on it compared to Ufotable. Okay, so Ufotable's had it for a while.
They did. But like the Studio Dean had it first, and then Ufotable had it, and now A1 Pictures has it. Yeah. So I actually might check this one out, at least to see how I like it in comparison. So this might be a case of like, you've liked all three, but I didn't like the Ufotable. And it's not so much like their animation. It was just like the overall arc of it just irritated me for some reason, because it so diverged from, and I get it, when you're in a new studio and a new studio has it, you want to do your own take on things. I totally get that. But yeah, whether it's so different, and I liked the original one so much that I was just like, I've lost it. Mm-hmm.
We don't follow the manga, so the Dean one may be an anime only ending, and the Ufotable ones might be following the manga.
This is true.
That's usually the case. So
yeah, this is true. Which is why so many people like the Ufotable one more than Studio Dean. Mm. But, and I totally get that, because I've always been more like the manga, and whoever does the manga, they have an idea in their head and they know where they're going with it. Whereas the anime seems like they kind of just go willy-nilly with it sometimes and just kind of go off in their own little branch and whatever. I don't know. I guess I'll give it a shot. I'll see if I actually like this one, if I like their take on it. Again, like you said, it's A1 Pictures, and A1 does awesome work. I just don't know. We'll see.
The next show we're going to be talking about is Gamers.
And this one was mine. And it's kind of weird. I'm kind of actually wondering. We kind of picked these out like really far ahead of time, and now some of these I'm looking back on. I'm kind of curious as to this one. I'm kind of looking at it, going, why did I pick this one again? I guess because it was about gaming, and I'm a big gamer. But so, anyways, the synopsis for this one says, centering on the gaming lives of various high school students who play video games, including Keitai Amono, a lonely young man who loves his video games, Karen Tendo, the beautiful president of the video game club, Chikai, who constantly fights with Keita, and Tatsuki. Yep, that's all I'm saying for that one. Who puts on a facade of being satisfied with his life in the real world, but in truth really loves video games. Did this one have a trailer for this one? Mm-mm. No? Okay. Again, I'm kind of curious as to where I was going with this one, because it seems like a slice of life. Mm-hmm. It even labels it as a comedy romance. Pine Jam Studio, which have they done something we've seen before? I don't.
They've done a show called Mahou Shoujo Nante Moi Descara, and it's a short.
Oh God, is this going to be another short anime? God, why am I picking the short ones? Good Lord. I am going to be so furious with myself if this is another short one, because I hate short animes. You always feel like you get just slightly involved, and by the time you start to get involved, they cut it, and you're like, what? So, I don't know.
So, yeah, it's a new studio to us, because I don't think you've seen the Mahou Shoujo show. No. And that show was really silly, and I think I liked it, because I think I've only watched like 1 or 2 episodes. And it was kind of like a spoof on Magic Girls. Yeah. So, for them to do this gaming anime next, it seems interesting, because it looks like it's going to be following a bunch of different characters. But yeah. I hope they do it in a way, because it doesn't look like it's going to be a TV short, because the type is TV, so it looks like it's going to be a full episode. Okay. Hopefully, these characters end up becoming friends, and you kind of slowly go from one character to another.
AnyChart has it labeled as a comedy romance. Okay. So, and it looks like it was based upon a light novel. Okay. So, I don't know.
Yeah, so from the new key visual on AnyChart, it looks like there's 2 guys and 3 girls in this show. So maybe there's like some love polygons going on. I'm curious how much the games are going to be influenced, since this is not you get stuck in a game. I'm curious how much of the series out of the game is going to actually... Yeah.
Focuses around the games and stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, they're talking about a video game club, so I mean that could have a good chunk of it, but I don't know.
Yeah, as far as the club goes, it's like, is it a game creation club, or is it?
Sounds more like a game playing club.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm curious when I'm looking at this one now. It's like, why did I pick this one again? But I don't know, if it's a decent slice of life and the characters are really interesting and entertaining, I might go along with it. But you know me and my slice of life, I'm very particular about which ones I really latch on to and which ones I don't. I've dropped probably more slice of life shows than I've actually finished watching, just because if you don't have something interesting or intriguing or something new or fun, it just gets boring. Because again, it is the point. Slice of life is supposed to be about life, but it's like, come on, you got to have something to define yourself more so than what the average life is. So I guess we'll see. Again, new studio, so all these new studios.
Well, yeah, I'm curious. I'm hopeful. The next show we're going to be talking about is Isekai Shokudou, or Restaurant to Another World.
And this was another one for me.
Yes.
Wait, did you have this one too, or is it just me on this one?
It's just you, no trailer.
Okay. I like how that happens that way. So again, this one. Okay, now we're back into where I'm like, okay, this is actually going to be interesting. This one's the synopsis for is there's a restaurant called Yoshiko no Yuukai, Western cuisine cat restaurant. I guess is what it's called, basically. Located on the first basement floor of a building at a corner of a shopping district. That already sounds just like, what? While it normally feeds salarymen, there is a secret. Every Saturday, the shop takes a day off, quote unquote, and is full of special customers. For the office workers, it is a familiar place with familiar dishes, but for Saturday customers, it is nothing but cuisine never imagined. That sounds highly intriguing.
Okay.
Like, they're talking about special customers. I'm like, special as in how? You're not really defining that. I mean, it could be. Don't get me wrong. It could be something simple like that. But, I mean, we could be talking about monsters of all sorts and sizes. Just, you know, if somehow in my, like, it could be something simple like that, cats. Don't get me wrong, because since it's a Western cuisine cat restaurant. I hope they go a little further than that and have more different things than going along than that. Because to me, there was a book novel or series that I read a long time ago, and I need to catch back up on it. It was called Nightside. The series was. Anyways, it basically is a world underneath London that has all sorts of just varying different entities and stuff like that. And they all commingle. And it just, the way that they were talking about that immediately popped into my head, because in Nightside, there is a bar that everyone frequents. And just the varying different things that go on inside that are so abstract and off the wall. And I mean, they talk about cuisines never imagined, and that's like kind of throws that into that as well. I'm like, that could be intriguing. You know, what's going on here? How is this? I mean, because again, this was like a bar where they had like anything was up for sale. You could have like holy spirits, and they literally were literal holy spirits that you would drink and stuff stuff crazy stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, I'm intrigued. I'm curious as to how this is gonna play out. Again, maybe it's gonna be something like completely mundane and disappointing, just be like actual cat restaurant. I'm like, okay, don't do that. that would just be sad. Come on, do something more creative than that. And Silverlink, finally, a production company that we actually know. Yeah.
Lots of things.
Yeah. Again, yeah. But at the same time, at least we know.
Yeah, they've done amazing shows like Kokoro Connect, and another show that I liked that was a comedy was Baka and Test.
Yeah. So I mean, I didn't have a trailer for it, but I like the picture that they have on AnyChart for it. Hopefully that's kind of in lieu of what the animation might look like, and that does kind of look nice. So, and again, Silver Lake, we've known this company, at least this is the first one along our list so far that we've actually known. So it has my curiosity. It's piqued it. I'm gonna watch it and see what takes place. I'm hoping for and this is gonna be probably bad because like my expectations are kind of up on this one, and I'm hoping for something great, and then watch it be something ridiculous or silly or whatever. So we'll see, but hopefully something good will come of this.
Okay.
So
well, yeah. So I don't know what the animation is going to be like. I do like Silverlink, so I'm pretty sure that the show is going to be good. I'm intrigued. Like when it said dishes cuisine never imagined, I'm like, I can't even imagine what it would be like.
That's kind of the point. So I mean, yeah.
So yeah, I'm interested. I will check it out. The next show we're going to be talking about is Isekai wa Smartphone Tomo ni, or In Another World with My Smartphone.
So this was mine again. And like, okay, this got me intrigued kind of right from the get-go too, because it kind of puts one of those ideas in my that I've had in my head, scenes, because this is a familiar setup of this one, but the idea that they kind of continued with it had something in my head of like, yeah, what if that was possible or something like that? Anyways, this one, the synopsis for goes, Toya Mochizuki was accidentally killed. Yeah, I'm just like, wow, accidentally? How did you do that? And as an apology, God allows him to be reborn in a fantasy world and will grant him any one wish he desires. And so Toya chooses to keep his smartphone in the next world. In his second chance at life, he befriends many important figures and comes across the world's secret. He inherits the legacy of an ancient civilization and travels around nonchalantly while possessing powers that rival this world's kings. Just wow. That's just wow. So, but as I was saying, you know, we've already seen an anime like this before. Yeah. Well,
no.
I wasn't thinking of no.
So parts of it are ReZero with the cell phone, and then other parts are.
you forgot that one too.
Oh God, what's the name of it?
I think it starts with a K. I want to say
it's the funny one.
Yeah.
Freaking Studio Dean.
Yeah. Okay. We both know what we're talking about, and it's gonna probably kill you. I'm just gonna forget about that because otherwise I'm gonna smack my head thinking about that one too. Anyways, what I like about this is so don't get me wrong. I like that one that you were talking about, the one from Studio Dean, but I think sometimes the ridiculousness of it got to be a little too much. Where I'm just like, okay, come on, because that was the one where I'm just like, come on, you're supposed to go kill the Demon King. You haven't even left the starting town. What are you doing? This one seems to be a little bit more kind of serious because it seems like he's accomplishing things and doing things. And see, I told you it started with a K. But like, this is an idea. Okay, so even though in ReZero he did have his phone, it wasn't really functioning. Like, it still had like the functionality of the phone, but he couldn't do anything necessarily with it. Like, couldn't call out, couldn't look things up on a smartphone. Because like, it just literally was, he could use an alarm and he can use it as like a light essentially, or to tell the time, as pretty much the extent of what he could do with it. This sounds like this guy had the idea, I want to keep the phone and have it fully functioning.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a smart man right there. Hey, you have the world's information at your fingertips. You could know absolutely anything and everything, and you're taking it with you. So, hey, awesome. You know, he could download apps to do whatever he wants to do, you know, maybe different languages, and he could be like, oh, I can translate that. Yeah, sure. Here you go. You know, so some kooky, crazy things like that. You know what I mean? So this has always been one of those ideas in my head, and I'm like, why didn't anyone else kind of think about doing something like that? Just take your smartphone. So, you know, it's not like it isn't a thing in all of our cultures and what we all use now these days and whatnot. So, but then as it goes on and talking about how he befriends important figures, learns the world's secret, and becomes more powerful than this world's kings, I'm like, damn, you did something right. You know, and it doesn't seem like necessarily in the branch of Overlord, where he's just like, you know, powerful and, you know, has all these abilities and stuff like that. It seems to me like since he did what he did and taking the smartphone with him, it's probably he gets to where he gets simply because he uses his mind, his cunning, and his, you know, brilliance in whatever he does. Hopefully he's not kind of like, you know, a jackass about that and being all pompous or whatever. Yeah. If he's that kind of character, it's going to kind of ruin it for me. But as long as he's a character who's kind of fun and easygoing and whatnot, and still has that kind of brilliance about him, then I think this is going to be a pretty damn good show.
Yeah.
So, and it's done by Production Reed. I think haven't we seen something from them or no? It kind of sounds familiar. I'm just not 100% sure.
Okay. So they've done one of my favorite, my very first Cute Girls Doing Cute Things show, Strawberry Marshmallow. They've done a lot of stuff. Like they worked on Sailor Moon, Vampire Hunter D, Macross, Handmaid's Tale.
So yeah, they got some pretty decent ones under their belt here. So yeah, I'm hopeful. Obviously, the Cute Girls Doing Cute Things, you can see from the actual little picture they have on AniChart. Yeah, it looks like it's probably going to be a harem situation because he's got a lot of girls hanging around him and whatnot. But regardless, hopefully, I got some hopes for this one. I think it's going to be a nice fantasy, and I feel like it's going to definitely diverge and enough away from forgot his name, the other anime. Yeah, Konosuba. I feel like it's going to diverge enough away from Konosuba that you're not going to feel like it's too like cliched with that, you know. So I think I have some hopes for this. Let's see how this goes. So
okay. Well, for me, it seems like it's gonna be fantasy, so that's one of my weaker genres. Yeah. And the one thing that I'm curious about is like, how serious is this other world? I'm like, are the characters intelligent and he is very smart, or is he just a normal guy and everybody in this world is just dumb? And he just kind of just stumbles into being the king of the world.
Hopefully.
Hopefully he is very smart, because I know those are the characters that you love. Another thing is that I didn't know what studio that did this, and it's a studio that has a huge pedigree, like a lot of great shows behind them. So I feel that it should be good. I know a lot of shows that I've loved in the past, and when that same studio comes out with a newer show, they're kind of making it to appeal to certain people to make money, rather than like making shows
sticking to their guns that they can actually do something really good with.
Yeah. So from the look of it, I feel like it's a show that might be pandering, but I'm gonna give them the benefit of the doubt because they've done a lot of my favorite shows. So
yeah. I mean, at least if they did Vampire Hunter D, at least they can do some action. Yeah. Because that was some pretty good action in Vampire Hunter D, I want to say.
Next show we're going to be talking about is Jikan no Shihaisha, or Chronos Ruler.
Yes. And I'm pretty sure, I don't have it up right now, but I'm pretty sure this one had a trailer for it, right?
Yes.
And I remember looking at the trailer going, damn. That's... Like, I don't have it up right now, and it's been a little while since I saw it, but I do remember thinking it was a damn good trailer. A lot of good action, and the animation was just really, I think, especially for the tone it's trying to set, I think is really well done. So anyways, for the synopsis for this one, the story centers around chrono rulers, those who fight the time-eating demons that appear when people wish they could turn back time. The chrono rulers fight a time manipulation battle against these demons. That sounds freaking cool.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that right now. And I'm just going to call it, like, in the little picture they have on AnyChart, the guy in the back, and the top back, you see what I'm talking about? In the center?
Yeah, with the staff, I guess?
I think he's going to be my favorite character, probably. Okay. He just looks like the type of character I'm just going to be like, that was freaking cool. Awesome, dude. So, yeah. There's not, like, there's a lot of them that talk about, like, fantasy and doing, like, going into other worlds. This sounds like we're still in our world, and there's just these people fighting demons. And I'll tell you this, because the way they put it, because they talk about the demons that appear when people wish they could turn back time. It's such a simple thing, and I think everyone in their life probably has thought about this, or maybe wish this and themselves as well, that they could turn back time. So it is very plausible in its own right, because I mean, again, it's something relatable in that regards, but because they did it in such a way like that, it almost reminds me of, and kind of the same way with the animation, because it's very stylized. That one, this has been a while ago, and and now I remember it, XXX Holic.
Oh yeah.
You see where I'm like making the correlation between the two, you know what I mean? Because like, in XXX Holic, the people would come to her with problems, and they were very, like, this mundane little things sometimes. Because, like, you'd have people who, like, they made a promise, and they broke the promise. So then there was consequences that they didn't even know about that was causing them to feel the things that they were feeling or do the things that they were doing, like very supernatural in its own way. And it kind of has that same feeling. Here's a mundane thing that people do probably all the time, wishing they can turn back time, and it's actually having consequences, that there's actually like time-eating demons that come from this. Yeah. So, and like, I'm curious, like, do they stick in like one era, or are they going to start like jumping around to like different eras as the time-eating demons appear? You know what I mean? Like, this has a lot of like potential to just go all over the place. And I love it. I love that idea. If they do it, this could be just absolutely astounding and amazing. And I'm sure it's going to be action packed in its own way too. So, and it's done project number 9. Have we seen something from them?
So they've done And You Thought There Was Not a Girl Online, a show that I talked about a few seasons ago.
Okay.
They did another show called Rokibu, which is like cute girls playing basketball. And they've done a few other shows that are I don't think I may have seen like the first episode or two of, but they don't have any like powerhouse shows that I know about.
This is going to be a first for them.
No, they've done so. AniChart lists them with 10 shows, so they have work behind them. It's just
no. I mean, like this sort of like what they're jumping into here is going to be a first for them.
Like a dark-ish, high action-packed series. Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, like, project number 9 kind of sounded familiar. I just couldn't think of where I'd see it. And the fact that the shows that they've done, I'm hopeful. I'm going to remain hopeful, but let's see where they go with it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you really it seems like the characters are very distinct just by looking at what they look like. I'm hoping they continue along with that. So, set themselves apart. Go ahead. Anyways.
Yeah. From the trailer, everything the animation looks like cool, dark, and action packed. There's one thing, like you said, the studios. This is the first time them doing a dark show like this, from what AniChart says. But the trailer was cool enough for me to be like, you know what? I don't even care. I'm gonna check it out and see where it goes, because I did like the And You Thought There Wasn't Another Girl Online show. So they already have some good points for me.
The storyline seems really intriguing. Like that's something brand new. I mean, they're bringing something new to the table now. So
yeah, I'm definitely going to be looking forward to that one. The next show we're going to be talking about is Katsugeki Touken Ranbu. So, Touken Ranbu is a game that I know about from other people in the anime community talking about. I haven't played the game, I haven't seen it, but I do know that there was a Touken Ranbu show that came out a couple seasons ago, and it was cute boys who were also swords. So I didn't.
What? Hold on. Say that one more time.
The previous Touken Ranbu show was cute boys who were also swords.
Okay. So they're swords.
Yes, the Touken Ranbu game that I know of is based on swords.
So they're male swords.
Yeah, it's like that one show where it was guns that were cute girls or presidents that were cute girls. So
yeah, and see, I never understood the hell out of that. It's just like I was smacking my head. I don't know how many times when I watched only the first ep of that and went, what? Now, actually, take that back. I think I watched 2 because I'm like, I couldn't have just watched what I just watched. And then I watched the second one and went, wow. So, okay. I'm just making sure. I mean, I'm on that with you. So, that's just weird.
Yeah. So, this show is going to be done by Ufotable. So, it's going to be the first one was, no, it was done by another studio.
Okay.
This show, it's done by Ufotable, so it's going to be a very serious show. So there's going to be a lot of action in this show. The story for the show is the year is 1863, as the tumultuous samurai era is coming to an end. Japan is split between the pro-shogunate and anti-shogunate factions. The fate of the world is threatened as an army of historical revolutionists are sent to from the future.
Revisionists, by the way.
Oh. Threatened by an army of historical revisionists and are sent from the future to alter the course of history. In order to bring these forces down and protect the real history, 2 sword warriors, spirits, who are swords brought to life by Saniwa, a sage, rushed to Edo. The polite and thankful Horikawa Kunihiro and the short-tempered yet skillful
good luck
Izumino Kami Kanaseda, who serve the same master, confront the invading army along with a lively gang of warriors, including
Okay, there's just a lot of names. We're just gonna let it there. There's just a lot of names. 1, 2, 3, 4 names.
Mutsu no Kami Yoshiyuki. Oh God.
I told you. There's just a lot of names. 4 people are with him.
Yeah. So from this, it does look like it's still going to be swords brought to life in human form.
Okay. So kind of, at least the way they did it and the way they described it there, at least made some sense to it. Mm-hmm. So I'm kind of okay with that.
Yeah. So I saw the trailer, and because it's anything Ufotable does, I'm like, yeah, I'm checking it out. I was excited that they were gonna make an anime out of this game, because I know a few people who liked the game. When I saw the other show, it was a short, I'm pretty sure, and another thing was that it was a slice of life comedy with bits of action. So it didn't hold my interest. This show looks like it's gonna be just straight up action. So
which should be awesome.
I don't know. I still don't get the whole swords being brought to life as people. And it's going to be taking place in the Edo era, which is one of the settings in anime that I'm not really a huge fan of.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think I kind of skipped over this one because it sounded more like it was going to be I didn't even I glanced over it and saw the year is 1863, and I'm like, okay, this sounds more like it's going to be like an historical type anime, and it kind of has things of that. Because they're talking about the pro-shogunate and anti-shogunate, which is something that's been used a lot, and this setting as far as the plot devices go. Not to say that's necessarily a bad thing, but it's been kind of overused. It's been a while though, so maybe it's something that people can get back into. The way they describe it, though, the fact that there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's almost exactly the way Seven Samurai almost ish kind of thing. You see where I'm going with that too, because they're talking about basically samurai warriors kind of thing, and it's just a small group of highly trained warriors that are going up against, and I like how they put it as historical revisionists. And that's the only reason why I stopped correcting it, because it's they're trying to revise history. They're like, oh, we need to revise this. And they're like, no. That's part of history. We need to keep it that way. So that's intriguing in its own way, because now you're talking about the future meets the old, and I'm kind of curious how they'll go with that. But I can kind of go along with the way they described it there. I can go along with the fact that they can bring swords essentially to life, because if you go by the old samurai tradition, swords are the embodiment. They are the soul of the samurai, which is why there was a movie I saw a long time ago where it had a samurai in modern-ish time frame, and when someone, because he'd killed a whole bunch of people on a train, and he had to. It's just the way it was. And the police, of course, came, and they're like, well, we need to take your weapon. And you're like, and that's the thing. You cannot take the sword away from a samurai. It is a part of them. And before he realized he had to, so before he did, he actually broke the sword, because otherwise he would not be able to give up the actual weapon. So it's I can see where this coming two sword warriors, spirits who are swords brought to life by a sage. I'm like, okay, I can kind of get behind that, because there is, for a samurai, there is a spirit, and their spirit resides in the sword. So bringing a sword to life, that actually, okay, yeah, I'm kind of behind you on that one. And if I guess going by Ufotable, and it's Ufotable, which is awesome, and always do what they do. And especially as long as they go full on with the fighting and action aspect of it, I can get behind them on this one. So I'll check this one out.
Cool. The next show we're going to be talking about is Knights and Magic.
Such a nice and simple title. Nothing complicated about it. Just straightforward and right there. Did this one have a trailer for it or no?
I think it did.
Okay, I think because I'm pretty sure I watched the ones that I picked for the trailers at least, and see, usually that's the way it is for me. I'll read the synopsis first, and if I get intrigued by it, then I'll go watch the trailer for it, and that's usually what cinches it for me. So this one, in the story, a Japanese mecha otaku dies in a car accident. So there seems to be a kind of theme going on around here. We have people in our world who die and then get reincarnated, because here we go, and his soul is reincarnated into another world as Ernestia Ekrivaya, something like that. Iru inherits memories and interests from his previous life and aims to be a pilot of a silhouette knight, a large humanoid weapon that really exists in his world. So that's intriguing to me, at least. Because I guess this is what diverges them from the other ones. Usually someone dies, gets reincarnated into a fantasy world. It's straight up fantasy. The magic, the everything else, fantasy, pure and simple. This one has mechs. That kind of changes the aspect of it a bit, I would say. And that intrigues me. And the fact that it seems like, it almost seems like, what is that one that we watched where the guy got pushed onto a train and got reincarnated and was in the army? See,
Gate?
No, not Gate. Gate, he didn't die. They just stumbled upon it. I'm talking about the one who died and got reincarnated as a little girl.
Oh,
Anyways, Tanya, thank you. This kind of seems in this kind of the same sort of fashion here, because they had kind of like their own flying capabilities, and it says in the beginning, it says his soul, and then he gets reincarnated and looks like now he's a girl, which is interesting. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where the correlation I'm kind of driving between the two of them here. But it's like they have like the mechs, which I kind of put into like our realm, which is kind of the same thing where I do like with Tanya, where they had like guns and stuff like that, and they also have magic. It seems like to me, I don't know, maybe because it's called Knights of Magic, obviously they still have magic, so but they have magic and that. So I guess I'm drawing comparisons and correlations between the two in that regard. So I can see kind of where they might have gotten their inspiration for this, but at least it seems like they're diverging enough to do something different and new with it. So I'm curious to see where this one might go to. And it's done by 8-Bit, which I think have done at least a few of them that we've liked in the past, haven't they?
Oh yeah, they've done a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I gotta remember 8-Bit. So, anyways, yeah, it's not. I'm not like, I think when as far as like regards, I put like Jikai no Shishia. I put that one up there and like expectations, because it seems like it's gonna be something really like action packed and like dark and stuff like that. This one, I see good, like a potential for good action in it, but I don't think it's gonna be like hardcore action like the Jikan one was going to be. I feel this one's kind of seems like it's going to have more or less like an ease kind of into it, you know what I mean? Yeah,
this one has a lot of mechs, so it's going to be mech battles rather than like person to person battles, which tend to be a lot more action packed.
Yeah. I see a lot of potential for it, but I don't think it's going to be nearly as like heavy inducing as that.
Yeah. 8-Bit is the studio, and they did Grisaya and what was that other one? Infinite Stratos.
Okay, yeah, there we go. And Infinite Stratos had mechs and stuff into it, so I enjoyed the Infinite Stratos. But again, that was definitely a more easy. Like the battles were there, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't like heavy into the battles. And usually it was kind of like it was one of those where like the battles happened and it was like a stop go kind of battle. It wasn't like a constant just jamming action kind of thing. They'd have like their moments of just like reprieve and whatnot. So I see this one being as a nice, easygoing kind of action kind of thing. So
yeah, so I saw the trailer and I was looking at it. Seems really heavy as far. The trailer was mech heavy, so I'm a little weary. I've come to the decision that I am a fan of mech shows, but only particular ones. And
see, this is a mech. This is a stretch for me because I'm even worse than you are usually on the mech ones. So
yeah, well, I can see that you would like this one because this one's magic. So for me, I'm iffy on mechs and then I'm iffy on magic. So I'm like, I don't know. But the animation looks good. It's done by a studio that I like some shows from, so I'm definitely gonna check it out. But yeah, it's I'm a little weak on it, but I'm still checking it out. The next show I'm gonna be talking about is Made in Abyss. So this is one of my shows.
I was iffy about this one.
The trailer blew me away. So I was like, absolutely.
See, and I never watched the trailer on this one because of reading the synopsis for it and looking at the little picture for it, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah. So the synopsis for this one is the Abyss is the last unexplored place in the world. Strange and wonderful creatures roam within, and it is full of precious relics that present humans can't recreate. Those that dare to explore the depths are known as cave raiders. An orphan girl named Riko lives on the rim. Her dream is to become a cave raider like her mother and solve the mysteries of the cave system. One day, Riko starts exploring the caves and discovers a robot who resembles a human boy. So, there was a fantasy show with a little big-headed kid. I want to call it like Otazuki's story or something like that. And I think he had a dog with him. This show reminds me of the style of animation in that show, where it's like, it's innocent. It's an innocent child's adventure in this gorgeous landscape. So just seeing that, I'm just, it's like with Islands in the Sky. Like you say, hey, this anime got islands in the sky. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch it. So, so this show is just one of them things where it's like, it's this premise, and I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out. The studio is Kinema Citrus, and they've done a lot of shows that I like. Like they've done Barakamon, they've done Yuyushiki, which is like a really slice of life girly anime based in school. They've also done Tokyo Magnitude, which is a devastation anime with a earthquake. So you know that they can do like massive destruction. They can do lighthearted kids type show. So this show fits well in their wheelhouse from the shows that I know from them. So I am very excited. They also done Black Bullet, which means they can do some dark action stuff. So I am definitely hyped for this show.
See, I think the only one I've watched from them on that is like Black Bullet, which, don't me wrong, was very intriguing on its own, but I don't know. See, and this is kind of a difference for you because usually you're not as into the fantasy type animes, and I'm usually all gung-ho about them. And I saw this one and I read the synopsis for it, and I saw the picture they had on AnyChart. I was like, I don't really know about this one. I don't know. I think this is one I'm going to have to wait and have you watch like the first episode for and tell me whether or not you think it's worth a watch for. I'm not sure if I can bring myself to watch this one. I don't know what it is about it. Something about it. I'm just like, I don't know.
Okay. I would say check out the trailer because it's a very cinematic trailer. And at the very end, it was just like, oh, you know that big hole that's been in the background and we haven't been talking about? Let's dive deep in and then fade away. You're like, no, show me. Yeah, I'm definitely hyped. The next show we're going to be talking about is Owarimonogatari Ge, or G.
So I have an interesting experience with this anime, and by interesting, I mean I'm like confused as all get out about this anime, but I'm still intrigued about it. Because like this anime has I don't even know how many seasons or how many different versions of this. There's at least 4, if not 5 of this anime. And I am all sorts of confused as far as like, there never seems to be like a chronological order to them.
No, I think they're jumping all over the place.
They do, and it confuses the hell out of me. Because I start, like, I'm like, wait, don't they have, who has this power? Who has confirmed with it? Who, what? Where is this happening at? Oh my God, it gives me a freaking, someone please, make like a chronological thing for this so I can watch them all in chronological order, because I swear, it confuses the hell out of me. But it's so good. It's fascinating, and I don't think I've watched all of them yet. But yeah, so this one says, that is the end of your youth. On the morning of the appointed day of the college entrance exams, Koyumi Araragi headed towards North Shiraibi Shrine. What awaits him there with an unexpected smiling face is the slice of the sword that marks the final decisive battle. All of the stories now meet the resolution. So I'm like, okay, apparently we're reaching the conclusion of all of this now. So, but it has so many people involved. Like you thought like Durarara was like confusing with all the different like people and stories. This one has like so many different people and connections and stories to it, but they're all so intriguing as well. Yeah, it's like because of the supernatural aspect of it is what, like, I'm always like, what the heck? Like the girl that they have in the picture there, I don't even remember. There was something about like something people in Japan, I guess, wish for, like having, they want to be skinnier, they want to be lighter. And I think there was some sort of crab creature that like granted her wish, but it like took something out of her and made her like almost hollow. So like, yeah, and she became like, her personality became very twisted and very distrusting. So she always had like blades of some sort. Like she'd have like box cutters or scissors or some other like pointy object, and anyone came close to her or touched her, she would pull one out of nowhere. And like the little girl with the backpack. And it's been a while since I've watched these series, so anyone watching this and being like, you didn't get that detail, I'm sorry. It's been a little while since I've watched these. I'm trying to pull them from memory here, and I'm having a bit of a hard time. The little girl with the backpack is actually a ghost. Okay. And she has her own story that goes along with everything. And then the purple-haired girl, if I remember correctly, I want to say she saved a cat or tried to save a cat, but it ended up dying. And then the soul of the cat went into her. So then all of a sudden she kind of had like a split personality almost. And during the day, she was a normal kind of nerdy-ish, girl who did good in school and all that. But at night, the cat, when she went to sleep, the cat woke up, and all of a sudden she actually grew like ears, a tail, her, and she almost kind of looked cat girlish. And then she would, I think her hair went white, because like that was the color of the cat, and she got into all sorts of like trouble and mischief or whatever. And the original, and I think that's the same person they're talking about, the Kiyomi, he actually ends up, in his storyline, I want to say, he ends up becoming the servant to a vampire. Okay, I knew there was a vampire in there somewhere. Yeah, but the vampire was like this little girl. I mean, she's a vampire, so she never ages, and I think she was always this little girl. And he became her servant. I don't even remember the circumstances behind that. There was definitely some circumstances behind that, though. But because of the fact that he's a servant, he gains a measure of immortality. So, like, he can't die. But, like, each time he comes across each of these people, they, like, it's kind of like a ReZero. And the way that he would die in ReZero, and you're looking at it going, oh, my God, that was like, that's, you're just like, how would you... And then he recalls everything. Well, this is kind of the same thing. He's immortal, so he gets like thrashed and like ripped apart and beaten to ever-living pulp. But he'll always heal and come back. But he remembers all of it because like it happened. And you're like, oh, but he's like, okay, yeah, hey, you're a trooper, man. You keep on keeping on, you know? Uh-huh. You know, and he tries so hard to help his friends. You know, he makes friends out of all these people basically. But so I'm curious. I'm curious how this is going to go. I'm probably going to have to refresh my memory and just go back and rewatch some of these. So again, someone finds like a chronological thing for these, please let me know so I can actually save my sanity at least somewhat and kind of actually watch these in somewhat. So, because God, they did. I think there was even at one point in one of the storylines, they went to like an alternate world or something, or like, yeah, because it took like a decision that he made and said, well, what if you didn't make this decision? What if you made a decision this way? And like the world became really fucked up just because he didn't make a decision in a certain way, and he ends up being in this world, and you're like, dude, holy shit, don't make that decision, please.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I was like, this is an interesting series, but it's definitely a series where you're just looking at it going, holy crap. It's gonna take, like, you really gotta wrap your head around it. So, but again, I'm intrigued. I might not watch this right from the get-go because I definitely have to rewatch some of this to be able to get like characters back in my mind about who they are and what they do and everything. Because it's been such a long time, and I don't even think I finished all the series because again, at some point I was just like, oh my God, my head hurts from all this. So, but again, I'm intrigued and I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping, I think it's still the same people. I didn't look that up though. Shaft, did they do the same? Did they do all the other ones?
Yeah,
okay.
Shaft is known for
all the other.
They're known for all the other ones. They're known for and
I think the only reason that they're like linked together that you even know is because they all end in Gatari or something like that, or yeah. Which is why, like, I never realized, like, there were multiple seasons out until I started seeing the characters. And I'm like, wait, I recognize that character. And I looked at the title and went, oh, you sons of... You didn't say it was that. Anyways.
Yeah, they've, Shaft, they've done the Madoka Magica series. They've done, what was it? Nisekoi, A Tale of Memories, Tale of Melodies. Arakawa Under the Bridge, stuff like that. This studio is unique. Like their anime flows in a different way.
Yes, they do. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Yeah, and especially this series because I haven't watched it, but I know that it's super heavy dialogue and certain parts are super violent from what you've said with the other series that have come out that we've mentioned.
Yeah.
So I feel. Because it's so dialogue heavy and so like kind of a brain teasing kind of anime, I don't think I'm gonna watch this one. Like, yeah. This trailer was creepy. Like it was just showing all of these crazy clips and it just started getting crazier and crazier. And I'm like, stop! I want to get off the ride. Yeah, that show scares me. No, nothing. But yeah, if anybody knows the order, like the story order rather than release order, put it in the comments so Shay can get it all ironed out.
So I know what the hell I'm watching.
The next show we're going to be talking about is Princess Principal.
Somehow I knew this was going to be one of yours.
Yeah. This show is done by Studio 3 Hertz, and they've done quite a few shows that I like. The synopsis for this is the spy action series follows 5 girls in the 19th century London, a city within the Albion Kingdom divided into east and west by a large wall. The girls serve as undercover spies, enrolled as students at the prestigious Queen's Mayfair School. The girls make use of their individual abilities to remain active in the underground world of disguise, espionage, infiltration, and car chase. So, the trailer was really cool for this show. It reminds me of like, I don't know. It was like parts of it remind me of old shows that I've watched. Like, what was that one where all the girls were like brainwashed and they all had guns and stuff?
Gunslinger Girl?
Yeah, it reminds me of like Gunslinger Girls, a little bit of like Bakano, a little bit of like fantasy anime. So it looks, the look of it really intrigues me. I've liked stuff that Studio 3 Hertz has done. Like they did that one that they were partnered with Cartoon Network, the Dimension W. They also did Flip Flappers, which was like a crazy, like Alice in Wonderland. Each different episode is a completely different world, like super crazy sci-fi fantasy show. And they've done a lot of really cool, interesting looking and interesting concepts. So this is another show where the concept isn't as out there as the other shows that I've seen, but with their track record, I'm like, oh, okay, let's see what they can do with the spy world, because that seems that you can add some crazy stuff to the spy world. And
yeah, you can definitely.
I'd like to see what they're gonna add to it.
I don't know. I think I kind of skipped over this one because it didn't seem as intriguing to me. This is definitely going to be another one. I think I'm going to let you watch the first couple episodes and see what you think of it. Because the only one that I have that I can say I've enjoyed, not from this studio, but in this sort of like niche little genre. Because I definitely consider like little girls being trained as killers kind of thing to be a very niche kind of, genre little thing going on here. Is Gunslinger Girl. Mm-hmm. And I liked Gunslinger Girls, but I could say I liked Gunslinger Girls not so much for their action, but for what the overall arcing story of it was. Like their missions that they carried out in that was always interesting to me, and how they did it. But it was like the relationships between the girls and their handlers were always the more things that I focused on more than anything else. Which you remind me of one of my most intense moments. You've seen the whole series, right?
No, I started watching it. I got a few episodes in, maybe like half the series, maybe not. But like, I felt like some sad stuff was about to happen, or some bad stuff, and I kind of like, I'm gonna watch something else. So it's a show that's like, even though I can't remember the name of it, whenever I think of it, I'm like, oh, that one show that I need to go back to, because I liked where it was going, and it just, I got scared, and I was like, I'm gonna go.
I can't necessarily fault you, because I refuse to watch Clown After Story for pretty much that same reason. But like, so looking at it and from what it says, and I kind of see the same sort of thing with it. Again, I feel like there's probably an expectation I might have with it because of what I enjoyed and liked as much as I did out of Gunslinger Girls. And to me, it was such a long time ago, and when I saw it, it seems more or less a classic in my mind, that I don't know whether or not I would receive this as well if I watched it. So I might let you watch, see what you say. I might skip it altogether. I don't know. Cause yeah, there was one, I think literally Gunslinger Girls might've been one of the first animes that I watched that I had that instance, and I don't have it very often. I have it for other ones too, but I had that instance where I actually was like speaking, I had that, no, what do you, it was like, and I actually spoke out loud and went, oh my God, because it had that moment, and you get so invested in the characters. And it seems to me the way that they have this, and you see the girls and they're focusing on it, especially in the image there, that the girls are probably going to be a good focal point. I'm just not sure if I'd get as invested in it as I, with each of the girls as I did with Gunslinger Girl. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I might ruin it for myself before I even watch it, because I'm drawing that correlation between the two, and you yourself kind of drew that correlation between the two of them in that. So I don't know. I might just skip all over it. So
okay. Next show we're gonna be talking about is Saiyuki Reload Blast. This is another one of my shows.
Is this a sequel or somewhere in the lines of like another one? Because it seems like the characters. One. Okay, I was about to say. Yeah. I think the characters are familiar to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the synopsis for this one is: at last, the Sanzo party has arrived in India. In this foreign land where the anomaly's influence runs rampant, their battles only heighten their violence. And also awaiting them is their tragic fate from 500 years ago. What will they find at the end of their long, treacherous journey? So, is this Are they immortal? The trailer got my attention. Every time I see Saiyuki, it reminds me of that one show that kind of reminds me of Trigun that I could never get into, and I always start it, and then the first episode I'm like, I can't watch it. So this is the third time. This is the third time where I see the trailer and I'm like, that looks awesome. I'm gonna go, I'm gonna watch it, I'm gonna not like the first episode, and then I'm gonna leave it behind again. But it always gets me, so I'm gonna check it out again.
So I know like the overall arcing kind of story in general with this, because it's the old tale of the monkey basically that caught, like it's been a long time, don't get me wrong, it's been a long time since I've heard the actual story for this, but I want to say it was I know it was a monkey, and I want to say it got in trouble with one of the gods, and basically got a headband put on it that would like put it in like control or something like that. There's a lot of things. Like I know, for instance, like that pole that kid has is like a extending kind of pole.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like little niches and things that I remember from this, and I know like the blonde-haired dude is the priest that ends up basically is in control of the kid looking there that has the pole, because he's the monkey in human form, basically. And so again, I remember Saiyuki. I remember each of these that have come out, because that's why when I recognize the characters, I saw that, and I Saiyuki, I'm like, I remember that. I don't remember where I remember that. It's been a long time since like the last one came out, hasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, I think a lot of people probably might have forgotten about like that. You know, it's probably been a long time. If people have probably watched it, they're probably going to have to rewatch like the previous ones just to refresh their memory about what's actually happened up to that point. If it's actually continuing.
Yeah, I think there was a gap between Saiyuki and Saiyuki Reload. Maybe that's why it's called Reload, because it was like, we've been out of episodes for a long time, so now it's just loaded back up with a new series. Yeah. And then this one probably hasn't been that much of a gap, but it
still has been a gap, I imagine.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, is it still done by the same people?
I don't think. This studio,
I wouldn't imagine.
It's Platinum Vision, and all I've done before is Servamp. So it's kind of not looking good. Yeah. I didn't like Servamp, but I don't know. It's I haven't been able to like this site hasn't been able to hold my attention. But
maybe they picked it up because they were trying to make a name for themselves and everything. So they might actually try really hard and do some good stuff with this one. But I don't know. Again, this whole series was never one that fully interested me either. So
it's one of them. It's like, even though I maybe watched 2 episodes out of the first episode of the first season, maybe, or the first episode of the Reload, definitely. And I don't know what it is about it. It's like the Trigun. It reminds me of Trigun, and the characters look very unique. And this trailer looks amazing. So I can't not mention it. Like it fully has my attention, and I'm definitely watching the first episode. But whether I keep up with it, with my track record, I'm just gonna watch the first episode. Next show we're gonna be talking about is a very long name: Youkai Apato no Yuuga na Nichijou.
Yes, this is gonna be another one where I'm looking at it going, okay, why did I like this one again? Yushi Inaba, a 16-year-old boy whose parents died 3 years ago. He moved into his uncle's house, but resolved to move into a dormitory. Okay, now I remember. I like this one. Moved into a dormitory in high school. Plans changed when the dormitory burned down. He eventually finds a cheap apartment, but discovers too late that the apartment is home to supernatural creatures such as ghosts, yokai, and mononoke. And his daily life becomes embroiled in the eccentric apartment. Okay. That sounds interesting. That just in its own right sounds interesting. I'm not sure necessarily about the look of it. Did this one have a trailer?
Yes.
Or no? Oh, did? I didn't actually look at the trailer in this one, I don't think. How did it look?
Clean art. they didn't really show that much animation. It was more like panning shots of characters, so you didn't really see like.
But like, so like, does the detail like they have on like the picture on the any chart actually about the same detail they have in the actual anime itself?
Yeah.
Does it reflect it pretty well? I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of like soft and yellow lit, but
yeah, I've never been a huge fan of that type of animation. I mean, it's not. I don't have anything necessarily wrong with it. It just seems rather plain. Like there's nothing to me. There's nothing that necessarily like pops with it.
Yeah.
You know, it's just kind of like, oh, it's pretty standard, pretty, you know, whatever. But the overall storyline for it definitely intrigues me, because this is definitely like another one where it's like kind of like with those monster girls and trying to do a daily life. You have monsters living in an apartment, and you have a human guy who happens to be caught himself in the middle of all of it, and now he's trying to live his life, but has to kind of deal with the fact that he has monsters basically living around him and just correlate, you know, their co-relationship that they have between them. I'm intrigued to see where it's gonna go, basically.
Yeah. This kind, I don't know. There's been a lot of I'm like the shows that have happened like this were school anime, and the main character gets stuck in. He moves into a dorm that's near the school, and there's always something weird with the dorm. So. Yeah. Whether like the owner looks like a kid and there's a bunch of weird stuff happening, or the dorm is just full of crazy eccentric people. So this falls into that category. I'll go ahead and check it out. It just depends on the characters, because a lot of shows like that, it's the dorm's tenants basically
drive the story.
Yeah, drive the story. So.
Oh yeah, no, and it's definitely going to be all like character relation as far as that goes. So I mean, if they have as interesting characters, let's just say, as like working, then it's going to be, you know, absolutely fantastic. But I mean, if the characters just kind of fall flat and don't really do a whole lot, then it's going to be like, no. So this is definitely going to be one of those hit or miss kind of ones. So.
Yeah, this show actually doesn't have a studio yet on AniChart. So
yeah, I was curious about that. I was going to ask. I was like, what studio did this one?
So I don't have anything to base it on. Like the last show that has done something like this, I think it was A1, and there was like the something pet Kanojo something. There's a last show that's been like the closest to this, and I really, really liked that show because the characters were amazing. So, yeah. But this one has supernatural characters, so this is also interesting. But I gotta see. Like, I don't have anything to base all the animation and everything off of. But if the characters are awesome, then I'm on board.
Exactly. Was that our last one on that?
Yep.
So curious to see what's your number one that you're most interested in out of all of these? Which one have you the highest hopes for? Let's just say that.
Made in Abyss, because I am looking for a fantasy anime to just take me completely away, because that's the kids' fantasy one. And then I'd say in second place is Fate, the new Fate, because I haven't kept up with the nice action-packed series that's like Holy Grail war type of fights. So it's probably because I kind of want to. I haven't finished Unlimited Blade Works, so I don't know. I'm probably gonna start this one and not finish it either.
So I say like I'm number one for me has got to be like Jikan. Jikan's got to be my number one. The Chrono Rulers.
Yeah, that one looks like.
Yeah, that one looks like it's gonna be absolutely amazing. And my number two, it's a hard choice, but I have to say, as long as his character is spot on, the smartphone one is definitely gonna be my number two. So the most hopeful one, because their description for it is so vague. Most hopeful one, because they do so much, is got to be the Isekai Shokudou. Okay. So, as long as it's not something stupid, make it cool. Cool. So, anyways, that's all for me.
Yeah. I'm excited that this series has a bunch of brand new stuff coming out.
Brand new stuff with brand new studios.
Yeah, it's even though a lot of the concepts that we've seen before, but it's all nice to see a fresh coat on all these things.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. So that has been our thoughts on our upcoming anime for summer 2017. As always, you can contact us on Facebook or Twitter at Takoyaki Anime. That has been it for the live show. The edited show will be up in about a week, and then we will be back in a month talking about the end of the spring season and the shows that we've actually finished and what we think about how they've gone. So
a lot of good stuff with that one.
Yeah, I gotta catch up. I'm so behind. So yeah, it's been Big D and Shade, and we will see y'all next time. Bye.
Hey. This has been a weird season.
Yes, this is actually a really hype season for me. I've been waiting for this season for...
Because that's something that typically animes kind of shy away from. I don't usually see a whole lot of when you get into, like, unless they really go